For some reason I always decide to wear shorts when I go walking. I could not be dumber. See, I've already gone the wrong way, because there's tons of cow shit here. Originally my next video was going to be a response to Lena, Just Kiss My Frog's most recent video about strong women, and then I realized Lena had said everything that I wanted to say, so didn't make that video. But there was an important part of that video which I do want to say, which is about video responses. I just realized that I really cannot do the backward facing camera because I am bad at framing my shots. Video responses. I really miss video responses. Like, I am 99% certain that if video responses had never existed, most of you wouldn't be here, because I was a shameless sellout and only made a video response to the Becoming YouTube series of videos because I thought, here's a good way to get some people to watch my videos. And you know what? It worked. But you know why it worked? Because YouTube is about community and discussion, and that's what video responses were, so why don't they exist? As I have said previously, if any of you have any idea how to make a video sharing website that can rival YouTube and topple their monopoly by encouraging community discussion over everything else, you have my full support and all of my hypothetical money. And I say hypothetical because I'm a student now and I have no money. This video is a video response to YupMyNameIsEmily's most recent video about GCSEs and education and motivation and productivity and shit like that, because I have thoughts on those things and they need to be said. I think we can all agree that procrastination is one of the biggest enemies of people who want to get stuff done. In her video, Emily said about how she is prone to procrastination and that she finds it hard to have the motivation to do things, and that's why she procrastinates. And I am completely with you there, but if there is anything the past couple of years have taught me, you need to find a reason to want to do it. You can't just like think that the motive is, oh, I need good grades. You need to actually want to do it, which is easier said than done, I agree, but like, you can find your own motive for it. At the end of the day, if you don't have a reason to do something, you're not going to end up doing it. So you need to find why that thing matters and then make that matter properly. Like, so say you need to do an essay. Why do you need to do the essay? Your teachers will tell you it's because you need to get good grades. I am telling you it's because you want to live, essentially. Not that the essay has to be good, but you need your mind to be clear. And your mind can't be clear if it's still got stuff floating about in it. So, general advice is do the thing. It's easier said than done, but it's still possible. Also, your teachers are absolutely crazy for thinking that telling you you're doing bad is going to help you get better grades. That is 100% not the case, and you just have shit teachers. Although, I guess it kind of is reinforced in the education system today, but no. You're learning for yourself, you're not learning for the grades at the end of it, and you're not learning for the school, even though they might want you to think that. You said you feel like that you'll never be good enough to do anything because of the way your teachers make you feel and because you're not getting stuff done. But I am here to tell you, you are the master of your own destiny and assorted other cliches like that. My best advice would be to own your creativity. Find what matters the most to you, and then realize that you are going to make that thing your job one day. Or now. There's no reason to wait. You can do the thing. You don't need to... The biggest problem I have, well, the biggest problem most people have, I would say, is thinking, oh, I'm going to be that thing one day, but then they don't take the steps to be that thing in the present. So there's people that say, I'm going to be a writer, but then they don't write. They think that one day they're just going to get a job writing and then they will be a writer. No, if you want to be a writer, you write now. So, Emily, you want to be a filmmaker, make sure you're making films now and you're writing things to make or finding things to make and just doing it and just like pursuing all of your passion projects. If you think of an idea, just get out there and make it if you can. Even if you have to cast yourself in 4 different roles, just make the thing and then you'll get better at the thing. Okay, so personal anecdote from my lifetime. When I started the YouTube thing, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I mean, in some ways I would say I still don't now, but I have ideas now. Whereas before I was just like, what do, how do, what? YouTube has been one of the biggest helps for me finding out what I want to do. Only because it promotes the free discussion of ideas and crap like that. By far the biggest influence on me finding out what I wanted to do with my life was realizing that there is a different definition of art. When you think of art, you probably think of stuffy shit in museums and crap. Although you are a student of the art, so maybe you don't. But I did. I know I did, and other people who watch this video may also feel like that. I no longer feel like that, because art is whatever you make and has meaning. So even if that is just a business, if you make that and that has a meaning and that is not like inherently something else, I'm not making any sense. But art is not what you think. That's going to be the definition. Art is not what you think, and because of that, you should make art. Art is whatever you do think. So, yeah, God. John's going to bully me for this. I know John's going to bully me for this. So the bulk of this video, or also known as the stuff you probably came here to actually see, is how the hell do I get stuff done? And the main way to get stuff done is just to put your mind to it and actually get it done, which sounds kind of counterproductive because you're like, well, I could have worked it out myself, Kieran, but you'd be surprised. It took me a long time to realize that the best way to get stuff done is to do the stuff. I've talked about productivity tips a lot on my channel before, but by far the biggest change that I made was single tasking. Single tasking is basically only doing one thing at a time, because really you can't do more than one thing at a time, no matter what people tell you. You are a human, and you have a human brain, and your human brain does not like doing more than one thing at once. There's a statistic out there somewhere that says something along the lines of, like, every time you take a break when you're doing stuff, you take 5 extra minutes to get yourself back into focus. So don't do that. Just put your mind to the thing. So it pains me to say it, the biggest tip I can possibly give is turn off your internet. You will thank yourself so much. Just put everything away and you just put your mind to the one thing, not the one ring. That's ominous. I don't like the looks of that. Please don't be a dead hobo. Decided not to check that out because I don't want to know if that's a dead hobo. The best way to get stuff done by single tasking and still have mental room to do other things is the Pomodoro Technique, which is so named because the red tomato timers, Italian for tomato as Pomodoro. I can't speak Italian, I'm assuming I say it right. Pomodoro Technique. Do something for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, do something for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, so on and so forth. That will get you doing stuff a lot better than you already do it. I don't know how it works, but it definitely does. I don't actually always stick to Pomodoro, because sometimes, especially with revision, I find the 5-minute break actually just breaks my flow. But you definitely need to have regular breaks, otherwise your brain will not do the thing properly. Also, quick tip on essays. Plan the shit out of that. Plan that more than you write it, and then the words will just fall into place. It's been a long time since I read anything to do with the GTD, getting things done. I don't know what to call it, way of working, I guess. But I have a basic knowledge, which is kind of more useful than the actual system of GTD, because GTD is, like, it's a bit too wordy. There's no reason to read the book. Basically, collect all of the things you've got to do, divide those things into actionable steps, and then you sort them into different projects. My favourite app for getting things done in the GTD way is Todoist, because Todoist is just such a godsend. I would not get anything done without Todoist, and I actually have a Todoist premium subscription because it's that helpful. If I'm not a bad editor, I should be overlaying footage of Todoist right now. If I am a bad editor, sorry, you're stuck with me. So, for example, say you have 3 different areas of your life. You have school, you have filmmaking, and you have healthy eating or something like that. That's just easy to work out. So you can then, in Todoist, make 3 different projects: school, healthy eating, and filmmaking. Within those projects, you can then make sub-projects if you so need. So when I was in school, I made projects for all of my different subjects, and then put the required tasks into those. Although if you're still at Gcses, you maybe want to group your subjects, like sciences and or maybe like core subjects and then other subjects and option subjects, I don't know. But I mainly picked up Todoist when I was at A-level and I only had 4 subjects, and that was easier for me. So I don't know, miscellaneous projects always really help, because you never know what the hell you're going to put in there. So you've made all of your different sub-projects for each of your subjects, and within that you can then make each thing that you have to do. So maybe you have 2 different English essays and some maths questions to do, and you also have an RS project on something, which I will decide when I edit this, maybe. So you've got all of those things, and then you say, okay, so I put the essay down, and what do I need to complete the essay? Because the point is you need to break it into actionable steps, because the human brain doesn't really work well with long-term goals. It has to sort of like, I need to do this, now I need to do this, now I need to do this. So maybe the first actionable step is collect the quotations you're going to use. Then the next one is plan the essay maybe. And then maybe the final one is write the essay. Or you could do it by paragraphs, that could help you, because that's slightly more actionable for the brain. And yeah, you divide each thing into actionable steps, and that is the point. You need to be able to look at the thing and then be able to do the thing. The other useful, like amazingly useful part of Todoist, and I don't know if it's in the premium version or the normal version, because I've been using premium for a while now, is priorities. Set priorities on your tasks, and you will thank yourself so much, because then you can just sort by like things that are priority 1. Maybe they have to be in sooner, and then you can say, okay, I'm going to do all the priority 1 stuff today, and then I'll do all the priority 2 stuff tomorrow. And like, oh, maybe you're having a really lazy day, but you can still get stuff done by doing all of the priority 4 stuff. So that's helpful. Yay. I look really tired. I'm sorry. I've been going to bed at like 2 lately. Fuck, I'm getting bitten. I've been going to bed at like 2 lately, so that's why I look like a demon. You mentioned in your video that you really don't like science, and you're not alone there. So many people don't like science, myself included. Well, I kind of do, but... Well, actually, I don't now, but I did when I was doing science, so I guess I'm not that great of a judge on this. But anyway, you said you don't like science. You're not alone there. Fuck off! There was a insecty thing. You're not alone in not liking science. However, the best advice I can give you is just suck it up. You're right, you will do worse in subjects that you dislike, but ask yourself why you dislike that subject. Is it because of the subject itself, or is it because it's the way it's taught? Because bad teachers can ruin your entire everything. Bad teachers should not exist. I'm sorry that they do. It's an inevitability of life. But if the teacher is the reason why you don't like the subject, or the course is the reason why you don't like the subject, and you do like the ideas of the subject, like physics for example, fucking love physics, hate the GCSE course on physics, because there's no fucking physics in it. So, my best advice, and it might be painful, but read beyond the syllabus, because then you will actually know what you're doing. If you have a more advanced knowledge of something, then the easier stuff comes easier, and the more advanced stuff isn't necessarily that hard to grasp. So if you're really struggling, try harder stuff, and then maybe the easier stuff will seem easier. I don't know. I'm not the best at science advice. I'm sorry. I should have asked a science friend of mine. Do not be afraid that sometimes your effort and your ability drop, because that happens. I think that's how learning happens, really. Sometimes things will be harder, or you'll be completely apathetic towards it, but then eventually you'll come around and you'll be a lot better at that thing, and that's when you know that stuff. So, like, I found the beginning of year 12 RS so hard. Everything was really complicated, but then I got into the flow of it, and I was like, shit, I get this stuff. I'm doing this. I am doing this. I am the king of RS, and I got an A star in RS, so yeah. You're right, your schools and teachers are pushy, but don't take that to heart necessarily. They need the grades to be good because it affects them and it affects their funding. It does not necessarily affect you. One of the biggest things for me was realizing that my grades don't define me, and then I was like, holy shit, I can do anything. I'm great. Your grades are not necessarily that important. Yes, you need to try it, but that is the important thing, the trying. I think the current law is that everyone has to stay on to 18 in education now. I would have recommended that anyway, but if you're doing that, your grades are only a ticket. They don't really matter in the long term. They're just sort of like, okay, now I'm in post-16 education, what can I do? You said in the video that you're doing the YouTube thing because it will help you with filmmaking, and I can only agree. Like, I have only ever YouTubed really, but recently I've got into filmmaking. I know my way around editing now, which, I mean, you wouldn't expect because most of my videos aren't edited, but I know my way around an editor, and I can get a fairly decent thing edited, and like I can do things to that. So yes, keep on with the YouTube, but don't pressure yourself to keep up YouTube. I had like 4 breaks last year, and they made me better, I think, and they gave me time to actually focus on my life, which God knows you need that sometimes. So keep YouTubing, but don't feel the pressure to keep YouTubing. Yes, people do say that this is the best age of your life, and you may even think it's the best time of your life, but those people are wrong. Every time that you feel happy in life is gonna be the best time in your life. It doesn't matter your age, because like, yes, rent and things are like big responsibilities, but if you're doing something you love and you can make ends meet, you're gonna be happy, and then you're gonna feel successful, I think. You said you're studying them, so I'm gonna have to ask, how do you feel about Lord of the Flies and Of Mice and Men? Because, I mean, frankly, I love what I love of Mice and Men, and I'm only halfway through Lord of the Flies, so I'd be interested to hear a perspective on them from someone who is currently studying them. I think my best advice would just be to view school and all education as a way of developing an interest in the things that you like. During your time in education, you should just use it to sort of take advantage of everything and learn everything you can that is relevant to you. And just think of the grades like milestones. Think of grades like achievements. You get them every time you level up. That was a much better metaphor when I wrote it, as opposed to when I said it all breathless after this huge hill. I hope the video has been helpful. I don't know if it is. I think I come across far too arrogant and like I know everything, but I was just trying to give tips, so please ignore the arrogance or cockiness that may show in my voice. And please excuse the rapid breathing that is currently occurring, because I'm about to die.